Jim and I are at D23. Let's go see what we can find.
Looks like it'll team up. Coming in. Oh no! Come on. Clock ticking, 20 seconds. Come on. Oh my gosh. How do you keep up with this? Oh! 5 seconds, come on, this one to count. Come on, this is it right here. This is it. 2 seconds, come on.
No!
All right. There you go. Good job. Yeah. Ready? Okay. You have to try to knock. Just at the bottom or right button, you try to knock your guy Player 3. There you go. Alright, good job, guys.
What do you think, Jim? Should we buy that?
Yeah, we're definitely gonna buy that.
Oh, good, because I already pre-ordered on Amazon.
Okay.
Here is the Parks Pavilion, or booth, not really, it's more like a pavilion, showing the things coming to all of the parks in the future. Of course, we have Tron Light Cycle coming to the Magic Kingdom and Walt Disney World. The costumes the cast members will be wearing. And then there's the costumes for Mickey's Runaway Railway. And look like this is the ride vehicle. It does kind of remind me of the Great Movie Ride vehicles, those really long benches. And over here is all the new, the logo and everything for Epcot. And all the new symbols for all the different lands or areas. I kind of dig the new logo. I never really liked the C going over the O like it's a globe kind of thing. I just always thought it looked very odd and very 90s, so I'm glad they're changing it. We have a reveal poster coming up Sunday, and I'm guessing that's going to be Brazil. But on the other side, there's another one. I guess I'll go up to that closer, but I don't know what that one's going to be. I feel like I should know, but I don't. So here's that other revealing Sunday poster. Probably gonna be like, oh, it's that later after I edit this. Like, of course. But right now I'm scratching my head. I love all these posters. I wish they'd sell them. Okay, so Jim asked a cast member about those posters. And they are going to be for sale. I guess here at the Expo, the old school Epcot opening poster and then the new kind of remake of that poster for the new Epcot is for sale here at the Expo and probably the Dream Store. I'm not sure, one of the stores there. But the rest of the posters are slowly going to be released, I guess, in the parks and probably online. Oh, just in Epcot. Well, that makes sense. As the transformation of Epcot progresses, they'll slowly release those posters. So you'll probably find them in Mouse here, and maybe even those little, well, since they're changing all of Future World up, wherever they end up selling stuff in the new Epcot. So yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, we'll be going over to hunt for these posters.
I am so excited about these posters.
Yeah. Now that we live in,
most of them.
Yeah, now that we live, 10 minutes away from Epcot, we can go over and
the problem is we don't have enough wall space for all these posters. Yeah. I don't know where we're gonna put them. We might have a small house. We might have to kind of pick and choose among them. Yeah. Which are the priority? Yeah. That's very hard. I do want Kitchen Cabaret. The China one is really cool too, though. I don't know. It's gonna be hard. Yeah. Some really cool old Epcot merch Hong Kong Disneyland Castle. I'm so happy that Hong Kong is getting a unique castle. Not that the original, you know, Sleeping Beauty Castle isn't pretty, but I feel like Hong Kong deserves kind of their own thing. So I'm excited to see it in person. Especially, I just think it's so cool, Jim. Like, isn't like how cool, like when you look at the castle in Hong Kong, how there's like mountains behind it?
Yes.
Yeah, and so this
between two mountains.
yeah. So this is gonna look so cool with mountains behind it. Like, I'm really excited to see it. So this is a display for the Star Wars Hotel coming to Disney World. And I don't know if this is the ship you're supposed to be on. I think it is. I think this
Millennium
is.
Falcon is next to it.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I think this is essentially the hotel, what you're looking at, or what you're supposed to feel is the hotel that you're in. It's this giant ship. I am so excited for this. Jim and I are definitely going to book it. It's just going to be a lot of money, but it's totally worth it, we think. Well, it was chaotic and crowded, but we got into the 50th anniversary
Haunted Mansion.
the Haunted Mansion 50th anniversary celebration panel. Yay!
Yay.
For a minute we thought we weren't gonna get in. Like,
it was pandemonium.
yeah, like we barely got in the gold member queue. It was just a mosh pit of people holding their cards up, trying to get in, and the line, and we probably maybe only about 20, 30 people got in after us. So but we did it. Yay! So pretty excited.
It appears you are suffering a medical emergency. Please remain calm while I attempt to reattach your head. This will only take a moment. Please remember to breathe. Your injury has been treated. Are you satisfied with your care? La 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 la.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our skipper tour of the Haunted Mansion.
What kind of jokes are we going to tell on this?
Dead man. Hello? Test? Test? This mic is dead. Oh, I get it.
Some people report hearing a horse attached to this hearse, but I say nay!
Strangely, some find the Haunted Mansion to be very romantic, especially spiders. Just look at all the newlyweds.
Right here is our first ghost! He says he is a kind, generous, handsome billionaire. Clearly he's lying. You can see right through him.
Believe it or not, we have a hard time coming up with jokes for this room. Skipper Nick was pitching a lot of ideas, but to be honest, he was really stretching.
You know, I once had a short-lived career as a gravedigger.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They fired me for putting 3 pairs of shoes in every hole.
Why'd you do that?
Because they said everyone needed to be 6 feet under. So they gave me the boot. They said I wasn't a good fit. Even after I put my soul into it.
I can dig it.
It's okay, I've got lots of dirt on.
And now it's time for the most dangerous turn in our journey. Our return to the mortal realm.
If you had a good time today, I am the brave and handsome Skipper Nick. This is Skipper Jen, and this has been the world famous Haunted Mansion.
And if you didn't have a good time today, my name is Henry, and this is Albert. And this is the Mystic Manor.
And then, of course, we have Sally. Sally, thank you for joining us today.
Oh, of course. I just love getting out of the house.
Fantastic. And, of course, we have Uncle Deadly at the end of the stage. Uncle Deadly, welcome.
Hello. Wonderful to be here.
Now, Uncle Deadly, when's the last time you were at the Haunted Mansion?
Oh, well, I haunt the Haunted Mansion every Tuesday and Thursday. Better take the weekends off.
Fantastic. So we have a whole script to get through. So without further ado, Sally, would you please lead the way?
Of course. A ghostly voice is heard from a talking marble bust in a niche high in the corner of the room. The opening statement would have no pertinent relation to the show, so those who might miss the first part would not be slighted.
When the dismal knell of a requiem bell calls the spirits forth from the tomb. And there's a dog howl. May I hear some dog howls, please? Wonderful. And the mournful sound of a baying hound chills your soul with an aura of gloom. Then some ghost wailing. Let me hear you. Ghost wailing. We'll work on that. Then the spirits ride on a ghostly wing, wailing their song of doom.
The doors of the first elevator open, and the voice of the ghost host, loud enough for all to hear, comes from the far wall of the elevator.
Welcome, foolish mortals. Welcome to the haunted mansion. I am your host, your invisible ghost host. Our tour will begin here in the ghostly gallery, so kindly step all the way in, please, and make room for everyone. There's no turning back now.
Lightning and thunder effect darkens the room, but illuminates an attic area beyond a scrim ceiling. A corpse is hanging by the neck from the rafter, gently swaying to and fro.
A bit drastic, perhaps, but effective, and it did provide easy access to otherwise inaccessible places. For now, I walk through walls. I'll be seeing you, I hope.
Okay, so the panel was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the reading of the 1958 original script for the Haunted Mansion.
Right.
That was super fun. It was really cute. And all the stories I just had to kind of say about the Haunted Mansion, its creation and everything. Really glad we got into that. And oddly, the house wasn't full.
I think they did it on purpose.
Oh yeah, they did it on purpose. But there were some seats that they were still good viewing, so it's, I don't know. I mean, the side ones, like all the way to the side of the stage, I understand why they wouldn't fill those, but it's horrible viewing. But I don't know, I feel like there were too many seats that were saved for people that didn't use them, probably special guests and things, and it wasn't a full, I didn't feel like a full house.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know there's reasoning for it. It's just, I feel bad for anybody who didn't get in, that wanted to, and there were seats in there. But I'm glad we got in. At least we got into one somewhat major panel.
Oh, I know what you caught me right in the middle of welcoming all of our friends to our incredible party, our incredible celebration.
Yes, our celebration. Remind me, what exactly are we celebrating?
Oh, Sebastian, it is our 30th anniversary of our film, The Little Mermaid. Can you believe it? It's been 30 years since we did all of those crazy adventures under the sea together.
Really?
Yes.
How do I look?
You know what? You actually look pretty fantastic. And actually, you know, the two of us together after 30 years, we don't look so bad. So it's good.
Okay, so as you guys can see, we did get into the Little Mermaid 30th anniversary panel, and it was a lot of fun. And I really liked the Prince Eric thing, the kiss the girl.
Yes, it was.
They went and found 3 guys who looked like Prince Eric, and then we all voted, and then they did the whole scene and everything. It was really funny.
I think she was surprised.
Yeah, it was pretty cute. But the whole panel was really fun. Just hearing their stories and seeing concept art and having the Sebastian puppet out, and all of it was a lot of fun. And they gave us goodies at the end, which they didn't say anything. We walked out and we were like, oh, here. So it looks like we got a poster. We don't know what's in it. Obviously, it's a Little Mermaid. And then H2O. I don't know, what is it? Because that was the sponsor, the H2O Beauty. So it says D23 exclusive launch, limited edition Little Mermaid 3-step hydration system. So
I think I need that.
So I don't want to open the poster up here at the con because I don't want to potentially damage it, but I'll take a picture of it later, guys, and maybe I'll add it to the video, or it'll be on Instagram at the very least. So, but overall, I mean, it would have been great to get into the parks panel, but that was not going to happen for us. I'm not the type that can stay overnight in line. I would need to go to the chiropractor right after, and it's a Sunday, so I don't think I can find a chiropractor. So we're gonna have to watch video and read blogs and stuff just like all of you guys to see what the park panel said. Probably do that while we're in line for something else.
Probably.
But we did get the Little Mermaid panel, and I'm glad we went to it. It was a lot of fun. Okay, so I'm filming the end of this video a week after D23 is over. Jim got sick on the last day of E23. He came down with some sort of cold. And then I got it a couple days later, a few days later, and it was a very strong, long-lasting cold. So I was sick all throughout Labor Day weekend, and hence why this video is so late getting put on YouTube. I was in bed, blowing my nose every 5 minutes, and with a pounding headache and a sore throat. I couldn't talk for a whole day. I couldn't even speak. So I'm better now. I'm still getting over it, but that is why this video is so delayed getting to you guys, and why I'm filming the end of it at home. My thoughts on D23, because this was my first time going. And the reason I hadn't gone in the past is because it's a pretty expensive trip. Flying to Anaheim, getting a hotel, paying for D23, paying for the food in the area, it's not a cheap trip. So, and Jim and I, we like to do other things, you know. We like to go to China. We like to go to Star Wars Celebration, which normally is every other year, and there's only so much vacation time we have and so much money. So this year though, we decided we're doing it. We're going to D23, and the experience was good, but not as good as I would have liked to, I would like to say it was great, basically. The first problem we ran into was reservations for panels. I guess this was something new that they hadn't done before, and that kind of surprised me. And I was like, okay, well, I can go with the flow. We'll do the reservation thing. The day of reservations, they had a problem and told us all, everybody, to come back an hour later, and they'd have it resolved. Came back an hour later. They said, nope, it's not going to work. Come back Saturday. I think it was at noon, where I am, Eastern time. Or maybe it was 3 o'clock. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so that time it did work. The reservations were up, and I was on the screen for getting in to the virtual queue to pick my panels. Watch the countdown go down, and then exactly at the time it started, I was put in the virtual queue. So that worked. But then I stayed in that queue a long time and knew within 10-15 minutes that the panels I really was hoping to get into wasn't gonna happen. And I was like, that's okay, I'll get into some of the smaller ones. But time kept going and going, and I was slowly moving in that line, but I eventually just sort of walked away from my computer and sat down and played a video game and just kept looking at my laptop to see where it was in the line, and then did some laundry. And it took me 1 hour and 32 minutes to get to the end of that line, and there was nothing left. I was kind of surprised they were even letting people in the room anymore to book anything, because there wasn't anything. Eventually, I don't think it was very long after that, maybe 10 minutes after that, they did post on Facebook and stuff, and I think they updated the reservation page saying there's nothing left, it's all booked. But when I got in, I kept clicking on everything, even stuff I didn't have any interest in, just to have something, and there was nothing. So that was a disappointment. So then I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm in standby lines then. And yeah, that's the case, you're in standby. So when we got to the convention, or expo, we did manage to get into 2 panels, as you saw, and the way we got in those was using my gold membership and just making our way. And it was a mosh pit frenzy to get into the Haunted Mansion anniversary panel. It was crazy, to the point that staff and cast were walking around saying, you have to keep moving, you can't stay here, it's a fire, the fire department's gonna get mad at us. We can't, this is a hazard, you gotta keep moving. People kept mosh pitting back though, and they kept having to yell it, and I felt bad, honestly, for the people working it, having to say that over and over and over again. It's not fun to tell people, that they can't wait there. But the way the panels were set up and the waiting was set up is it. And I hate criticizing, and I know they had to have done this for a reason, and I don't know what that reason is because I didn't work on this, you know, expo. I don't have nothing to do with the operations of it. But I've been to Star Wars Celebration in the same exact convention center and gone into the same halls. And the way they did it for Star Wars Celebration was, so for like the expo hall, people would line up in the big opening in front of the hall, get let in to that panel, and then after that whole line was out and in that panel, they let people queue up for the next panel in that space. And then when people got out of the panel, they went out these side doors all along that would loop back around and get back into the convention hall. That allowed for queuing for the next panel. For D23, they didn't do that. You literally went into the panel and you came back out the same way you came in. So people couldn't queue up ahead of time for the next panel. Why did that? I don't know. I don't know why they did it that way. Maybe they didn't want people going out those doors and walking around back through for security reasons, but maybe that's the only thing I can think of. But Star Wars Celebration had the same security, you know, that D23 had. You know, you had to go through the metal detector, you had to have your bags checked, you had to have your badge, you had to go in the same doors. Like, so, I don't know, but that worked really well for Star Wars Celebration. There wasn't mosh pits of people ever. It just didn't, I mean, except for coming in and coming out, like at the opening of coming in on the opening day, you know, a lot of people coming in at the same time. But for panels, they're very organized. So I was expecting that with D23, and that is not what I got. And then the other panel, same thing. The Little Mermaid panel was a little bit better because it was in the morning. It was the first panel of the day, so it was still a mosh pit of people trying to get in, and we just barely got in, just like with the Haunted Mansion one. But it was the same mess, basically. And then those are the only panels we got in 3 days, and that's probably the biggest disappointment. 2 panels in 3 days. We tried to get into other panels and we waited in the standby lines, but then we would be told as we were moving, it's full, you're not gonna get in. So we get out of line. So we waited for nothing. And they warned us, you know, like, you're getting in line, it doesn't mean you're gonna get in. And we knew that, but we took the chance. And after that happened a couple times, we're like, this isn't fun. We don't like waiting in line and getting nothing out of it. So, we just stopped doing that. So maybe we could have gotten more panels if we were willing to wait in lines and find out if we get in. But after it happened a couple times, it was kind of damaging the trip. So we decided to just enjoy the floor. And the floor had a lot to show. There was a lot to look at. It just wasn't 3 days worth of things to look at. So we would end up leaving. I think the first day we left at 5 o'clock. So we got a good day in on the first day. But the last 2 days we left. The second day we left at 3 o'clock, and it doesn't close until 7. And then, was it 3 o'clock? I don't remember, it was pretty early. And then the last day we left really early because Jim was just feeling so miserable. So we left 2:30, 3 o'clock for sure on Sunday. So we did end up waiting in line for some shops because we thought, well, at least we know we're gonna get in. So originally I wasn't gonna waste my time with the merchandise shops because I know it's a long wait, but that was me thinking like Star Wars Celebration. And since we weren't getting into panels and we didn't want to waste time waiting in line and get into nothing, we thought, well, we might as well wait in line for a shop. Then we know we're gonna get to see something, maybe not buy anything, but, and you know what was really cool though? There were cast members or staff, I don't know if they were cast members or just staff working the con, walking around saying what is still available in the stores. So you weren't waiting in line not knowing, is this still there? Is that still there? They were really, if they knew what was in stock, they'd tell you. And they were walking all up and down the line and trying to keep everyone in a good mood. And that was really cool. That is something Star Wars Celebration does not do. And I really wish they did. That was super helpful. I got a few things. I got a Spirit jersey and an Ursula doll, like a baby, the animation baby, like Ursula. She's really cute. I had no intention of buying anything, but I did. So they got some of my money. So would I go again? Maybe. If they moved it to Orlando or occasionally did it in Orlando, like hop back and forth between Orlando and Anaheim, I would go again if it's in Orlando, even if it was run the way it is now, just because it's affordable. I can easily go to it. And it won't cost me an arm and a leg. Or if they change the way that they run it a little bit, not a lot, because like I said, it was fun. The little parade in the middle of the day was fun. The staff was wonderful. The cast were all wonderful. I have nothing to complain about when it comes to security or anything. Everybody did a great job. The problem was getting into panels, and that's really why you go. I don't really go to buy stuff. I don't need anything. So, and when I do buy things, I try to buy practical things because I just don't need stuff. And Ursula doll is not practical, but she just, after waiting in 2.5 hours in line to get in the store, I'm like, I'm buying something. So I bought this doll. And she's really cute, and I'm gonna take pictures of her eventually, put her on Instagram around the park so you guys can see her. If they changed it and ran it, I keep using Star Wars Celebration as an example because I just feel like they do a good job. If they ran it a little more like that in terms of panels, I would go back to Anaheim. This year's celebration, they did reservations for the big panels ahead of time. But the way it worked was there was a period of days that you could log onto the website, put in your badge information, and select which panels you really want to see, which are the big panels you really want to see. And so they give you a few days to do this. This wasn't you have to be here at 12 o'clock on Sunday at this, you know. It was you had time. So overseas people didn't have to get up at a ridiculous hour, you know, to do this. They could do it when they had time. And then on this particular date, they said they were going to take all those entries, and it was a lottery. So it was luck of the draw. It wasn't luck of whoever got picked to be in front of the line and get to have all the reservations. It's literally a luck of the draw. So everyone had the equal opportunity to be picked. I did get into one of the panels that I put in for the lottery, and it was the Mandalorian Disney Plus panel, and I was stoked. I was so happy. I wanted to go to the new movie panel. Of course, everybody does. That goes to Star Wars Celebration, but I was really happy to get the Mandalorian panel, and it was a great panel. So it was just amazing panel. That's why I signed up for Disney Plus, is that show. And then what they did for the smaller panels was they had the app, and the day of the con, you could log into the app and reserve the spaces for the panels you wanted that day. That kept people from grabbing up panels that they may or may not show up for, and it made you think about your day. So you could go in and go, you know what, I have time for this panel and this panel, I'm gonna book those. And they would put you in a light speed type lane that there was still standby for all the panels, all of them, the big ones and the little ones. And you were limited to how many panels you could reserve on the app each day, but you couldn't reserve them until the con opened that day. Or maybe it was an hour before the con, but it was pretty much when the con was starting. And then they did a light speed lane for the Celebration store, which I didn't even use, but I got in. So, and I got a few things. More than I bought at Disney, like way more than I got at the Expo. That worked out really well. The app worked fine. People seemed to understand it for the most part. There weren't a lot of questions. There were no mosh pits of people trying to get into panels. It was really well done. And if they did that at D23, I would go again in a heartbeat, even if it's in Anaheim and costs me a lot of money. I would go again. I went to probably 7 panels at Star Wars Celebration, at least 7. Yeah, at least, maybe more, but at least 7. And they were all well done and super entertaining, and they always have DJs playing music while you're waiting for the show to start, and it's just a really fun convention. And normally it's every 2 years, but for some reason Disney decided, let's do another one right up, you know, so there's another one coming. Even though there was one this year, there's one next year, and it's in Anaheim, and I'm not going. Only because it's in Anaheim, and again, Anaheim's more expensive The flight, the food, the hotels are all so much more expensive. This year it was in Chicago. It wasn't bad. It was pretty good. We could drive though, so we drove. So I'm not going to the 2020 Star Wars celebration, just only because it's in Anaheim and because we're renovating our house and adding a pool, and that's a lot of money. So all in all, I like D23 Expo. It was fun being around Disney fans. I would love seeing all the costumes people had on. It's just 2 panels in 3 days. It's hard to justify that kind of money flying all the way out there. But I could justify it if it's in Orlando. And I absolutely would justify it if they changed the way the reservation system goes. So we'll see. I mean, every year, conventions and expos and trade shows, they learn from what they did and the changes they've done, and they make adjustments. And I'm sure there'll be a survey out at some point for me to fill out, and all people who tended to fill out, and they'll make adjustments according to the guest feedback. So we'll see if the reservations change, or how they do it, or if they get rid of them entirely, or what. But I really want to go to another one someday. It's just, if it's being operated the same way it was this time around and in the same location, it's probably not going to happen for a while, or until I really feel like I need to go to Disneyland again. So that's it for this video. Sorry it was so late, guys. I'm sorry for the delay, but when you get sick, you get sick. Subscribe if you like the video, or maybe watch some of my other videos, and if you like those, then subscribe. Thank you for watching. Bye.